And let's go over to Periscope and let's look at whether it's working or not. Good morning, world. Here I go. My phone I left on the desk at home yesterday this morning. And so now I have no clock, which means the usual, that I won't stop at 10:10, but I'll try. 10:10. 10 at 10, here you go. It looks like we're live. Good morning, world. Here I go. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, good. We got a double hit there. Okay, so let's say hello. Whoops. I did some Instagram stuff yesterday, and everything is messed up, but not everything, because I know how to work it. Okay, John Miglosh for the International Society for Strategic Marketing and the Wisconsin DMA. I'll be up in Minneapolis a week from today doing a talk on why you need a learned data set and why mail delivers that in AI. How to build the most foundational labeled data set. And it ought to be great. So if you're an expert on machine learning, come and heckle. And if you're not an expert, I think it'll be basic enough that anybody can understand what's really going on in machine learning, since I've been playing around with it since the mid 90s. So I guess that qualifies me to at least say he survived this long. Okay, thanks for the hearts I see down there. And let's get on with it. Okay. Why every CMO should leverage data lakes to drive business value. I wrote to Marty and to Rebecca. I wasn't sure exactly who was responsible for this, but it's time to invest in a data lake. What is a data lake? Well, the irony of it is, I was reading some Harvard Business Review articles yesterday, and here it is, Harvard Business Classics. And I think the latest one is from 1990 or something. My boss gave me this to read, and in there it talks about how businesses should buy computers and start collecting customer data, because it'll tell you everything that you need to know. The irony of that is that we still don't know everything we need to know, and we should have got a data lake by now. Yeah, okay. And the System 34, when it came out, it was promoted as a relational order processing system, so that marketing could look at the data that operations was looking at. And the joke of it all was that because of the architecture of the RPG-3, basically foundational language, marketing got banned from running queries like any time but the off season. And then people started hiring programmers for the marketing department and wrecking their mainframe. And that's how I got started in data. Is people called me up and said in those days, I don't know what it was called, but what would be the CIO today of Daytimers, which is a pretty big B2B mailer in those days, flew in and said, he said, yeah, we figured it out. We don't let them run queries anywhere between August and January. And I said, how? They weren't on System 34. They were on something bigger. But I said, so how do aren't they upset? He said, yeah, we want you to take the data and give them something they can play with, essentially. And, oh, no, first he said, we're going to give programmers to the marketing department. And I said, oh, you're going to let marketing program your mainframe. And he said, yeah. And I said, let me say that again slow. You're going to let marketing program your mainframe. And he turned pale white. So anyway, Rebecca or Marty, we've been hearing this literally for 30, 40 years. 40 years. That if you just get this next thing plus AI, you will know your customers. You will know how consumers are interacting with your products and services and what's happening and what's going on with the customer journey. Think about your last purchase of anything significant. What's your customer journey been like? I started looking at cars back a few months ago because my wife's check engine light came on. It turned out it was, I think, related to the really super cold weather we had, and had nothing to do with whether the car was working. That's the great benefit of idiot lights. And so we were looking at cars, then we stopped because the idiot lights went off when it warmed up. That's the typical customer journey. Anyway, I'm not gonna spend any more time on that. Okay. Firefox, speaking of data, Firefox is now letting users block digital fingerprinting. Now, it doesn't exactly tell you what digital fingerprinting is, but Firefox says it's a violation because um, because people can't turn it off. People can't clear it out. Cookies you can clear out. I do it regularly. I also use private browsers often, especially if I shop. I never shop on Amazon without a private browser, or you get retargeted forever. Okay, but apparently there's a new technique called digital fingerprinting that are not under the control of the browser state management system settings. And so what they're doing is limiting, and Google said it's going to do this more aggressively, and Apple said it was going to thwart fingerprinting by limiting the amount of data it sends to websites about users' devices. Amen to that. Okay? And on that note, I don't know where this went, but I found out I got so many articles in here, stuck in here, and I erased a couple of them, so let's go find the one about the cars. One of the things I found out, when Pathros, open. Goop is for sale to men. This is going to be a little scattered because I forgot my clock, and that one is going to be news. Now you know for sure. And somewhere, data connected cars. There we go. I never even thought about this. Chevy introduced a buckle to drive feature that will prevent cars from starting until teen drivers buckle their seatbelts. And just wait, soon it won't be just teens. I'm going to buy old cars from now on. As cars become more advanced, we don't want them. They're collecting more data. And I thought, okay, right, they're going to collect driver, like how fast you go and that sort of thing. No, they're collecting your weight and where you live, of course, who you text, what restaurants you visit, whether you go to church on Sunday. A friend of mine who does nonprofit uh, promotion, got approached, asked, "Do you want to know who went to church on Sunday? We can map them into whether they went to church." Okay, who does your car really work for? The data is supposed to be worth $750 billion. That means that car data is the next $1 trillion industry almost. If this is just in the next 10 years. Okay? Whoa. Amazing. So anyway, that's going to get more scrutiny, I think, as we go on. Which, let's go looking at GDPR. Ray Schultz, my friend Ray, says that there's no difference in email since GDPR, and I'm not that surprised. And GDPR is a cooked up mess that no one knows exactly what is going on with. And there's another article. There's another article talking about all the different, the withdraw consent, give consent. It's the Wild West out there, and there is no sheriff in town. And I apologize that I had so much news today that I just really had trouble grabbing it all. Okay, there's so much mapping the emotional journey. I like this article because, and then we'll call it a day. I like this article because, first of all, I think that the customer journey is largely mistaken. It's a moving parade. It's always moving, and people are at different points in that journey. And as one article I reviewed a few months ago said, somebody could be looking at a designer watch or at a Rolex sort of thing. They could be looking at it for years, for decades, and suddenly something changes and they buy. Okay, so this is claiming that you can map the emotions of the buying decision, and this is, I thought, just a lovely diagram. I've seen it before, and so theoretically you can discern the emotions of the consumer as they read your 25th email for the week, and they drive by your store but don't happen to see it, but their car knows you drove by it, and your ad goes by in their Facebook feed, but they missed it, but they're reacting to the baby picture from their nephew, not, whatever, their family. So you track that with the bit fit on their arm. Give me a break. Let's get back to real marketing. That's where we belong. Tomorrow we'll talk about some real marketing, including ink using print. That sounds great, doesn't it? It's actually, well, anyway, we'll get to it tomorrow. Have a great day. Like and share. I'm John Miglosh. Bye bye.